Welcome back. If a relocation is on your horizon, it can be stressful trying to determine the right city for your family. Now, a new study takes the guesswork out of moving. It identifies the best cities for relocation based on several things, including the hassle factor. For more, we're joined by Matt Spinolo, president of Primacy Relocation, the company that teamed up with the Employee Relocation Council to write this study. He's joining us now from Memphis. Matt, welcome.
Thank you.
I love the hassle factor. You got to start there. What is the hassle factor?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things that are involved with relocation, but it's generally considered to be one of the most stressful periods of any person's life. Ranks right up there with divorce or death of a loved one.
You bet.
Hassle factors typically relate to integration into the new community. So things like finding your way around, figuring out your new commute, how far is the grocery store, things like hooking up your utilities. So those types of things. So we've measured a lot of those types of integration type of activities, as well as more standard quality of life issues such as...
Well, let's get to those. Let's get to some of the other criteria you looked at as well. Some of these are we're familiar with. Economic impact, education impact. Tell us exactly what you looked at.
Sure. For economic impact, we looked at cost of living in general for the metropolitan statistical area. We looked at home prices. We looked at home price appreciation, which is a key indicator for someone who's relocating, because often families that move, particularly if they're moving as a result of a corporate transfer, are more likely to move again. You want to move to a community where...
that cuts your ability to actually, you know, enjoy the gains over years and years and years of holding a house. So if I have a city or town that has very high appreciation rates, is that a positive or a negative in your study?
That's a positive in our study, because typically these families are going to move again within 3 to 5 years, and so you want to have an opportunity to, worst case, not take a loss on that situation. We also looked at things like property taxes, income taxes. One of the things that we did look at that we thought had a relocation angle on it was vehicle property taxes, because different states and different communities will tax you differently when you register your vehicle.
Who has the worst tax rates on that?
The worst tax rates, it's a combination of state and local, but Virginia is one of the worst.
Wow, that's good to know. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about social fabric. You say you really paid a lot of attention to volunteerism. Why?
Well, we were really looking at an indicator for integration in the community, and we hit upon volunteerism as a great way to look at that. We collaborated with the Shyness Research Institute at Indiana University, and there actually is such a place. And the director there, Dr. Bernie Carducci, has data that indicates that 95% of people suffer from transitional shyness. So when there's a change in their lives, they typically respond to it with shy behavior. And Dr. Carducci indicates that he believes that the other 5% of people are lying. So basically, everyone suffers from transitional shyness. He indicated to us that he felt that volunteerism would be a good way to look at how communities integrate newcomers.
Excellent. So let's get to some of your list here, because we're sort of running out of time here, and I want to make sure we actually talk about the cities that rated really high.
We'll be happy
Austin, Texas. Now, this is a very attractive city. Why did it do well in your survey?
Well, Austin does well in a lot of surveys in terms of quality of life and those types of things. The things that Austin particularly has going for it, the cost of living index and home prices are high when you compare them to the rest of Texas, but when you look at it on a national basis, they're really quite moderate. The income levels on average in Austin are high relative to the cost of living, so there's a lot of excess disposable income.
Right.
Homes there appreciated in value nearly 9% annually from 2000 to 2003. So while a lot of the country was going through a post-9/11 downturn in real estate prices, Austin was continuing to increase.
Let's move on to Boulder here for a minute, because I want to get all of these in. Why is that attractive?
Boulder also scores very high in a lot of different surveys. Interestingly, home prices and cost of living are very high in Boulder, but the appreciation rate is very high there as well.
Right.
Additionally, because these are metropolitan statistical areas, In this MSA, Longmont, Colorado is also included, which is a very reasonable place to live, and most people will live in Longmont and commute to Boulder.
Okay, Yolo County in California also scoring well on your list. Tell us very quickly, we don't have a lot of time, why it did well.
Absolutely. Yolo County is the home of UC Davis. The quality of life there is very high. It's really the last college town left in California.
Okay.
And the home price average there is $275,000, which for California is very reasonable.
Matt, I want to thank you so much for joining us today from Primacy Relocation. A fascinating survey, interesting results. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.